Today we're casting with a 15.5 foot rod. We have a 10-11 line that's 80 feet long. The head's 80 feet. So we just want to talk a little bit today about long lining and just a stroke and what's needed to really cast one of these lines. They are rather difficult at first. The first thing is just position. I like a high grip. I mean, if I have a long cork with a long belly like this, I'm going to use a higher grip because I'm going to really reach out with these lines in order to drive these lines. It's unlike a short Scandi or Skagit head where a lower grip you can get away with in a very short stroke. You do need to lengthen your stroke length here. So when we get started, we want to have our bottom hand about center of our body here. We should be relaxed, and this elbow should be in somewhat here. And the first thing we're going to need is a lift. I'm just going to switch cast downriver for now. So we're going to need a lift, and then from here we're going to sweep. Now, how do we sweep? The key with this sweep is you got to keep it moving. When you transition into the sweep, whatever you do with a long belly, you can't lose the tension. If I drop the rod straight down, I'm going to lose my tension. So the key to dropping the rod or lowering the rod tip, you always have to lower the rod tip on a switch cast like this or a single spey. The key to it is don't lose the tension by dropping straight down. You want to drop and accelerate at the same time. Come around out to the side. So you want to drop and accelerate. Lift, no speed on the lift. Drop and accelerate. Really work on pushing out at the end of your stroke. It's very important to push the D-loop out away from you. As you pass perpendicular, push the D-loop away. If you don't execute this properly, it'll be very difficult to cast a belly of this length. Push it away. Now, a lift with a line this long will be very important. So we're going to make sure that when we thrust out, we're lifting. We got a very positive lift. You'll need to really get your hands up in order to cast a line of this length. Get your hands up. And my bottom hand at this point is out in front a little bit. You want the rod on about a 45-degree angle when you start your forward stroke, right about there. And ideally, you want to lead and drive with the elbow forward. Now, typically, I like to use about ear height to bring the top hand up to. With a longer belly like this, you might find it more helpful to get that hand up towards the top of your head a little bit more. Because that belly's so long, you need to be able to keep the back of that D-loop elevated. And the higher you lift there, kind of the more you can really reach out on your cast. Now, when it comes to changing direction, the key is don't muscle the rod. First instinct with a rod of this size is going to be to muscle it. You have to really let the rod do the work. So, if I'm going to cast across here, you want to do your lift here. And we're going to have to turn this a little bit more. Here. Don't fight it. Lift, sweep, accelerate. The key is keep the rod moving. Got to keep the rod moving. You want to sweep flat around your anchor and stop at 4:30. 12 o'clock's the target, 3 o'clock, stop the rod at about 4:30. Again, we'll lift, sweep, lift again, and cast. And I have no fuzz or fly on here, so you'll hear the line slipping a little bit. If I put a fly on here or a piece of fuzz, that snap would go away. It's not really because the anchor's slipping. So again, lift, sweep, lift again, and cast. The key got to keep the rod moving. There's really no hesitation. If you hesitate with a long belly like this, you'll never get the cast to work. When I form that D-loop, if I come back and I wait here, I mean, that D-loop falls so quickly. You gotta lift and immediately start the forward stroke. Key is, get the rod moving forward, but don't turn it over right away. Lift, sweep, lift. Keep the rod moving. You can see my anchor's up out in here. It's where I need it relative to where I'm casting. Before I was switch casting here, so my anchor was off to my side here, just out in front. Now when I'm controlling these lines, I've created a big loop here. I'm going to take my pinky and grab that line. I'm going to continue to strip. I'm going to make a loop a little bit smaller, and then if I need to strip in more, which I do, I'll strip in a little bit more. Okay, so I'll have 2 or 3 loops depending on how much line I'm casting and how I want to control it. So again, we'll lift, sweep, and you can see, I'm going to show that again. Watch how the rod comes down and pulls at the same time. You're looking to really bend the rod parallel to the current, really flex the rod. The key to that is just relax, drop the rod, and pull. You can see that rod bend. That's what we're looking for. Okay, and I'm going slow to show you. I left my anchor out in front, so I just cast on an angle here. So lift, pull. Now one thing with these rods, sometimes you need to get that going a little quicker with a longer belly. You don't want to really go soft, like a Scandi head or a Skagit head. You can kind of go soft as long as you're increasing speed and you are accelerating. With this, you want to start your acceleration a little quicker, but the key is do not go any slower. You got to go faster. Don't jump into it, but build the speed a little quicker. If you try to go too soft, it'll be hard with a longer belly. Lift, sweep, lift again, and out. That was a low anchor. I'm going to redo that cast, and I'll just put a little bit more into it. Thanks for watching.